The knife glints 6 inches from the elderly Korean woman's throat. Nobody moves. The man rasps in English, his other arm locked around his hostage's frail shoulders. The restaurant freezes. 30 dinner guests mid-bite, waitstaff mid-step. Blood thunders in Zara's ears as she watches from behind the bar, tray still balanced on her palm. Then her body makes the decision her brain hasn't finished processing. She moves. 3 hours earlier, Table 12 needs water refills. Table 7's waiting on dessert menus. And if you could smile occasionally, that would be revolutionary. Manager Kim doesn't look up from his clipboard. Zara swallows the retort, burning her tongue. Yes, sir. She's been working at Lotus Palace for 8 months, Seoul's most exclusive Korean fine dining establishment, where a single meal costs more than her monthly rent. She came to Korea 3 years ago on a hospitality scholarship that evaporated when the sponsoring company went bankrupt. Stayed because going home to Memphis meant admitting defeat. Now she serves Korea's elite while living in a Gazawan room barely big enough to lie down in. But the tips are good, and she's almost saved enough for culinary school. The evening service starts smoothly. Zara glides between tables in her black uniform, invisible the way good service should be. She's learned to read the room. Which tables want conversation, which want silence, how to anticipate needs before they're spoken. Table 4 is celebrating something. Table 9 is a business dinner, tense and formal. And Table 1, the private corner booth, holds a tiny Korean woman in Chanel and pearls who keeps watching Zara with unnerving intensity. Excuse me. The woman's English is accented but clear. What is her name? Zara, ma'am. Can I get you anything else? Sit with me a moment. Not a request. Zara glances toward Manager Kim, who's distracted with a phone call. She slides into the booth across from this elegant stranger who could probably buy the restaurant with pocket change. You're from America? Tennessee, ma'am. Alone in Seoul? Something about the woman's directness disarms Zara's usual defenses. Yes, ma'am. That takes courage. The woman's smile is sad, knowing. I was alone once too. A long time ago. She pats Zara's hand. You have kind eyes. That's rare. Before Zara can respond, Manager Kim appears. Ms. Williams, Table 7. My fault. The woman's tone brooks no argument. I was asking about the menu. He retreats, flustered. The woman winks at Zara. Go. But thank you for indulging an old woman. Zara returns to her station, oddly warmed. An hour later, everything goes wrong. The man enters through the kitchen entrance. Health inspector, he claims, waving forged credentials. By the time anyone realizes the truth, he's grabbed the nearest hostage. The elderly woman from Table 1. Everyone stay calm, he shouts in English, dragging her toward the front exit. Nobody follows, she doesn't get hurt. He's American. Zara catches the Pacific Northwest in his accent. Mid-30s, desperate eyes, sweat staining his collar. Not professional. Panicked. Which makes him more dangerous. Manager Kim is on the phone with police, voice shaking. The other waitstaff have backed against the walls. The diners sit frozen in their expensive clothes. Nobody willing to risk becoming a hero. Except Zara's body is already moving. She circles the bar, approaching from the man's blind side. Her hand closes around a bottle of gochujang vinegar, the heavy glass kind, substantial as a weapon. Please, the elderly woman says quietly. You don't have to do this. Shut up. The knife jerks closer to her throat. Zara is 5 feet away. 4. 3. The woman's eyes meet hers. There's no fear there, just a strange, calm recognition. Zara swings. The bottle connects with the man's temple. He staggers, grip loosening. The woman twists free with surprising agility as Zara lunges forward, knocking the knife from his hand. It skitters across marble tile. The man stumbles backward, crashing into a table. Before he can recover, Zara is on him, knee pressed to his spine, his arm wrenched behind his back. Hold she learned from her brother, who did 2 tours in Afghanistan. Don't move, she gasps. Then the restaurant erupts. Manager Kim and 2 line cooks rush forward to restrain the man. Someone's crying. Someone's applauding. The police sirens are already wailing closer. Zara releases her hold and stands on shaking legs. Adrenaline makes the room tilt. The elderly woman approaches, completely composed despite nearly being killed 60 seconds ago. She cups Zara's face in both hands. Thank you, she whispers. You saved my life. Are you okay? Did he hurt you? I'm fine. But you? The woman smiles. You're extraordinary. Before Zara can respond, the police flood in. The next 2 hours blur, statements, questions, paramedics checking everyone for shock. Manager Kim keeps thanking her, calling her a hero. The other staff won't meet her eyes. Ashamed they froze. The elderly woman stays until the police release her, then approaches Zara one final time. I'm Kam Meilan, she says. And I owe you a debt I can never repay. You don't owe me anything. My son will disagree. Mrs. Kang hands her a business card, heavy stock, embossed lettering. Come to this address tomorrow. 11 a.m. Please. Then she's gone, swept away by men in dark suits who appeared from nowhere. Zara looks at the card. Just an address in Gangnam. No name. No explanation. She should throw it away. Instead, she tucks it carefully into her pocket. The building is all black glass and steel, jutting into Seoul's skyline like a blade. Zara stands across the street at 10:55 a.m., second-guessing everything. She worked until 2 a.m. last night, slept 4 hours, and woke to find her story all over Korean news websites. Heroic American waitress stops kidnapping. Her photo from the restaurant's staff page, her name, her age. Her phone won't stop ringing with interview requests. Manager Kim called to say Lotus Palace is giving her a bonus, which sounds like hush money. Nothing about this feels right. But Mrs. Kang's kind eyes haunt her. That smile. You saved my life. Zara crosses the street. The lobby is museum quiet, all marble and minimalism. The receptionist barely glances at her before nodding toward the elevators. 42nd floor. No questions asked. Like she's expected. The elevator shoots upward fast enough to pop her ears. Opens directly into a penthouse office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking all of Seoul. The furniture is dark wood and leather, expensive in an understated way that screams power. Mrs. Kang sits on a cream sofa, pouring tea. She looks up and beams. Zara, come sit. Mrs. Kang, I don't understand, please. Sit. Again, that tone that isn't quite a request. Zara perches on the sofa's edge. Mrs. Kang hands her tea in a cup worth more than Zara's entire wardrobe. First, how are you? Any injuries? The restaurant said you refused the hospital. I'm fine. Just bruises. Good. Mrs. Kang's expression sharpens. Now, do you know who I am? You said Kam Meilan. I'm the matriarch of the Kang family. We've been in Seoul for 4 generations. My late husband built an empire. My son inherited it. She pauses. Do you follow Korean news? Not really. Probably for the best. It means you acted from pure instinct, not calculation. Mrs. Kang sets down her tea. That man yesterday wasn't random. He was hired to kidnap me, leverage against my son in a business dispute. Zara's stomach drops. Business dispute? My family's business is complicated. Import-export, real estate, private security. We operate in gray areas. Mrs. Kang's smile is sad. You risked your life for someone you didn't know. You didn't freeze, didn't calculate the cost. You just acted. Anyone would have, but they didn't. 30 people in that restaurant, and only you moved. Mrs. Kang leans forward. My son wants to meet you, to thank you properly. That's not necessary. The office door opens. The man who enters makes the room feel smaller. He's tall for a Korean man, maybe 6'1", with the build of someone who didn't inherit wealth. He built it. Sharp black suit, sharper eyes. His face could be carved from stone, all angles and controlled intensity. He stops when he sees Zara. Something flickers across his expression too fast to read. This is my son, Mrs. Kang says. Kang Jin-woo. He crosses the room in 3 strides, stops directly in front of Zara. She has to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. You saved my mother's life. His English is perfect, accent minimal. His voice does something complicated to her nervous system. I just reacted. You could have been killed. The knife was real. He was desperate. Jin-woo's jaw tightens. And you didn't hesitate. Your mother would have done the same for a stranger. Mrs. Kang makes a soft sound. Jin-woo's eyes never leave Zara's face. Name your price, he says. Money, housing, citizenship papers, business sponsorship. Anything. I don't want anything. Everyone wants something. Not from you. Zara stands, setting down the teacup. I'm glad your mother is safe. But I need to get to work. You quit. Jin-woo's tone is flat. This morning, Manager Kim called to inform me. Zara's blood goes cold. You made him fire me? I made him pay you 6 months severance and apologize for exploiting foreign workers. Jin-woo tilts his head slightly. You were working 60 hours a week for wages below legal minimum. That's not your business. You made it my business when you saved my mother. He steps closer. I protect what's mine. I'm not yours. No, but you're under my protection whether you accept it or not. His eyes are obsidian, unreadable. Someone tried to hurt my family. I've sent a message to the people responsible. But until the situation is resolved, anyone associated with yesterday is a potential target. You're saying I'm in danger? I'm saying you saved the most important person in my world, which means I owe you a debt I can never repay. And I always pay my debts. They stare at each other. Zara's heart hammers against her ribs, part fear, part something she refuses to name. What exactly are you offering? She asks carefully. Safety, resources, a job, if you want one. My mother mentioned you were saving for culinary school. I own 4 restaurants. He pauses. Or just take the money and go back to America. But you'll have security either way. For how long? Until I say otherwise. The presumption should infuriate her. Instead, Zara finds herself calculating. 6 months severance won't last long. Her visa situation is precarious. And there's something in Mrs. Kang's hopeful expression that tugs at her. What kind of job, she asks. Jin-woo almost smiles. My mother needs a companion. Someone to accompany her to events, make sure she's safe. Someone who won't freeze when things get dangerous. A bodyguard. A friend, Mrs. Kang interjects. Someone young and interesting who will tell me when I'm being ridiculous. The pay is generous, Jin-woo adds. Housing included. You'd live in the guest house on our family estate. Why me? You could hire professionals. Because she trusts you. Jin-woo says quietly. And my mother's trust is not easily earned. Zara looks at Mrs. Kang, who reaches for her hand. Please. I've been surrounded by employees and sycophants for 30 years. You spoke to me like I was human. That's precious. Every instinct screams, this is a trap. But Zara's been surviving on instinct for 3 years, and her instincts say these people, dangerous as they might be, are offering something real. 1 month trial, she says. Then we reassess. Jin-woo extends his hand. Deal. When their palms touch, electricity races up Zara's arm. His hand is warm, calloused, strong. He holds on a fraction longer than necessary. My driver will collect your things this afternoon, he says. Be ready by 6. Then he's gone, the office door closing with quiet finality. Mrs. Kang squeezes Zara's hand. Welcome to the family. The estate makes the penthouse office look modest. Traditional Korean architecture updated with modern luxury, sprawling across manicured grounds in Pyeongchang-do. The guest house is larger than any place Zara's ever lived. 2 bedrooms, full kitchen, windows overlooking a koi pond. This is insane, she whispers. This is safety, Mrs. Kang says, watching from the doorway. And you've earned it. The first week passes in a surreal blur. Zara accompanies Mrs. Kang to gallery openings, charity luncheons, traditional tea ceremonies. She meets Seoul's elite, politicians' wives, corporate chairwomen, society matrons who assess Zara with barely concealed disdain. Mrs. Kang handles them with elegant steel. This is my companion, Zara Williams. She saved my life. Speak respectfully, or leave. The disdain evaporates fast. Jin-woo appears and disappears like a ghost. Sometimes Zara catches glimpses of him across the estate grounds. Always on his phone, always tense. Once, she sees him return at dawn with blood on his knuckles. He catches her staring through her window and holds her gaze for a long moment before walking away. My son is not an easy man, Mrs. Kang says over breakfast one morning. His father raised him to be hard, uncompromising. The business demands it. What business exactly? Mrs. Kang's smile is sad. The kind that keeps us wealthy and powerful and perpetually in danger. Jin-woo has been targeted for kidnapping 3 times. Assassination attempts, twice. He learned early that showing weakness is deadly. That sounds like a nightmare. It is. But he's brilliant at it. Ruthless when necessary, strategic always. She pauses. Until you. What do you mean? He's had you under surveillance since the restaurant. Not just security, him personally. He watches the footage every night. Heat crawls up Zara's neck. That's invasive. That's interest. Jin-woo doesn't do anything without purpose. If he's watching you, it means you matter. Before Zara can process that, Jin-woo himself appears on the terrace. "Mother, we need to talk." His tone makes Mrs. Kang's expression shudder. "Excuse me, dear." They disappear inside. Zara tries not to eavesdrop, but raised voices carry through the open door. Jin-woo's rapid Korean, his mother's calmer responses. Then silence. When Mrs. Kang returns, she looks older. Tired. "Pack a bag," she says quietly. "We're going to Jeju Island for a few days." "What happened?" The people who sent that man to the restaurant, they're not satisfied with Jin-woo's response. Things are escalating. Mrs. Kang's hand trembles slightly. He wants us somewhere safe while he handles it. Jeju should be paradise. Volcanic landscapes, ocean views, a private villa that costs more per night than Zara made in a month waitressing. But tension permeates everything. Security is omnipresent. Mrs. Kang jumps at sudden sounds. On the third night, Zara finds her standing on the villa's terrace at 2 a.m., staring at the dark ocean. "Can't sleep?" Zara asks softly. Jin-woo called. The situation is worse than he thought. Mrs. Kang's voice cracks. He's negotiating with very dangerous people. If it goes wrong, Zara puts an arm around her shoulders. This elegant, wealthy woman suddenly feels fragile. He's done this before. He'll be okay. You don't know what they're capable of. What he's capable of. Mrs. Kang turns to face her. "My son is many things. Brilliant, ruthless, powerful. But he's also profoundly alone. He trusts no one. Allows no one close. Because everyone he's ever cared about became a target." "Then why are you telling me this?" "Because for the first time in years, I've seen him care about someone's safety more than his own image." Mrs. Kang's smile is bittersweet. "He watches you, Zara. Not like security watches an asset. Like a man watches someone precious." Before Zara can respond, her phone buzzes. Unknown number. "Answer it," Mrs. Kang says. Zara swipes to accept. "Hello. Is my mother safe?" Jin-woo's voice is rough with exhaustion. "Yes. She's right here." "Good. Don't let her. Out of your sight." "And Zara?" He pauses. "Thank you for staying with her. That's literally my job." "No. Your job is to be her companion. Staying with her through this, that's choice." His voice drops. "I won't forget it." The line disconnects. They return to Seoul 5 days later to find Jin-woo waiting at the estate. He looks like he hasn't slept, shadows under his eyes, tension in every line of his body. But when he sees his mother, relief cracks through his careful control. "It's done," he says simply. "The threat is neutralized." Mrs. Kang embraces him. "At what cost?" "Nothing I wasn't willing to pay." He looks over her shoulder at Zara. "We need to talk. Tonight. My office." It's not a request. At midnight, Zara crosses the estate grounds to the main house. Jin-woo's office is all dark wood and floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. He stands at the window, silhouette against Seoul's glittering lights. "You wanted to see me?" she asks. "How much did my mother tell you? About the business?" "Enough to know it's dangerous. Not enough to understand why you stay in it." He turns. "I stay because it's mine. Because my father built it, and I won't let it fall. Because walking away means showing weakness, and weakness gets people killed." He crosses to his desk, pours 2 glasses of whiskey. "But I'm tired, Zara. Tired of everyone around me being a transaction. Tired of trusting no one. So trust someone. I did. Once. She sold information to my enemies and nearly got my mother killed." He hands her a glass. "That was 8 years ago. I haven't let anyone close since. Until now. Until you." He meets her eyes. "You saved my mother's life without hesitation. You stayed with her through danger without complaint. You don't want my money, my influence, my power. You just..." He trails off. "You just care. And I don't know what to do with that." Zara sets down her glass. "Your mother thinks you're interested in me. My mother is perceptive. Are you?" Jin-woo closes the distance between them in 2 strides. "I've watched you for 2 months. The way you make my mother laugh. How you're kind to the estate staff. The way you never back down when something matters." His hand cups her jaw, thumb brushing her cheekbone. "Yes, Zara. I'm interested. I'm also dangerous for you. Everyone close to me becomes a target. I can handle danger. Can you handle me?" Instead of answering, she kisses him. It's not gentle. It's 2 months of tension, danger, unspoken want. His hands tangle in her hair. Her fingers dig into his shoulders. When they finally break apart, both breathing hard, his forehead rests against hers. "This is a terrible idea," he whispers. "Probably. You could do better. Someone safer. Someone who doesn't have enemies lining up. Stop. Zara pulls back to look at him. I'm a black woman who came to Korea with nothing. I've survived on my own for 3 years. I know how to assess risk. And you. She touches his face. You're worth the risk. Something in his expression cracks open. I can't promise easy. I can promise protected. Cherished. Mine. That's a lot of promises from someone who doesn't trust easily. You make me want to try. He kisses her again, softer this time. Stay? Not as my mother's companion. As my partner. In everything. What does that look like? Messy. Complicated. Dangerous sometimes. But honest. His smile is rare, devastating. I've never had honest before. Then let's try honest. Zara takes his hand. But I have conditions. I want to finish culinary school. I want to keep my own money, my own identity. I won't just be Kang Jin-woo's girlfriend. Deal. And I have one condition. He pulls her close. You let me keep you safe. You don't take unnecessary risks. You tell me when you're in over your head. That's 3 conditions. I'm renegotiating. They're both laughing when Mrs. Kang appears in the doorway, delighted. Finally, I was wondering how long you two would dance around this. Mother, I'm an old woman. I deserve to see my son happy before I die. You're 63 and healthier than me. Still, she crosses to embrace them both. Zara, welcome to the family. Officially this time. 6 months later, Zara graduates from culinary school. Jin-woo buys her a restaurant. Not to own, but to run. Your vision, he says. Your rules. I'm just the investor. She names it Lotus, after the restaurant where everything began. It becomes Seoul's hottest reservation, fusion cuisine that honors both her southern roots and her Korean present. Critics rave. Lines form around the block. But Zara's favorite part is the private dining room reserved every Sunday for Mrs. Kang, who brings friends and tells anyone who will listen. That's my daughter-in-law. She saved my life. Now she feeds my soul. Jin-woo still operates in shadows, still carries danger like a second skin. But he comes home to Zara every night, and slowly, carefully, he learns that trust isn't weakness. 1 year after the restaurant incident, he proposes in the same office where they first kissed. The ring is his grandmother's, platinum and diamonds, history and promise. You saved my mother, he says. But you saved me too. From becoming the kind of man who is everything and feels nothing. Zara takes his face in her hands. You were always worth saving. You just needed someone to see it. They marry in a traditional ceremony at the estate, surrounded by family and the strange assortment of people they've collected. Reformed criminals, society matrons, restaurant staff, Mrs. Kang's book club. 2 worlds colliding, beautiful in their complexity. At the reception, Mrs. Kang raises a toast. To my brave daughter, who saw a stranger in danger and didn't hesitate, who gave my son back his humanity, who reminds us all that the strongest thing we can do is care. Jin-woo pulls Zara close, pressing a kiss to her temple. I used to think protection meant distance. You taught me it means presence. And you taught me that powerful doesn't mean heartless. They dance as Seoul glitters beyond the windows. 2 people who found each other in the space between danger and devotion. The waitress who became a queen. The mafia boss who learned to be soft. Sometimes the most revolutionary act is simple kindness. Sometimes salvation comes from the last person you expect. And sometimes, love is just choosing someone every single day, despite the danger, despite the odds, despite everything that says you shouldn't. Zara chose Jin-woo. He chose her back. And in that choosing, they both finally found home.